Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Tadpoll. I'm your guest host, Anna Schremmer, and as many of you know, I used to be a teacher here for many years. I'm not going to say how many. And then when I retired, I became the Family Consumer Science Extension Agent for about 12 years, and now I'm fully retired except when I get a phone call saying, hey, would you like to do something? And so I got one of those calls, so here I am. And I have some really good guests with me, but before we get to that, I did call Tad last night to get some pointers on what I should say, what I should do, and he said, oh, you'll do fine. But he did want me to let you know that he misses Phillipsburg and to say hi to everybody. And also with this snowstorm coming in, he says, go get some bread and milk, make sure you can last through the snowstorm. I'm hoping it's not going to be that long, but we do need the snow. We do want to remind our viewers that we are streaming the Tadpoll on Facebook and YouTube. So if you prefer to watch the Tadpoll on your smart TV, you can now do that by going to My PCO's YouTube channel. Also, if you want to watch old Tadpoll shows, you can go there too. If you go to Facebook, they only keep those shows for 30 days, unfortunately. So now to our lineup. This morning we have Ashely Roth, who will be talking about the Eagle Days in Kerwin. We'll have Beau VanLoenen about Rotary and the raffle fundraiser they have going on now. And then we'll talk with Scott Eller from the Community Church of God. So we'll get started here with Ashely. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you are now at the Kerwin Refuge Center.
Yes.
So and I know they have the event of the Eagle Days coming up.
Yes.
Can you give us a little history about the Eagle Days?
Yeah, so we've been doing it for several years. I'm not for sure how long we've been doing it. I've only been at the Wildlife Refuge for a year now. Mm-hmm. So I got to attend my first one right off the bat last year. And let me tell you, I've lived in Kerwin for almost 20 years now, and I've never attended one. So my eyes were really opened up with the Eagle Day. I mean, it is such an amazing program that they have to offer for that.
So is it mainly one day then, or
no,
is it like a week?
It's actually a 2-day event.
Oh,
so
okay.
That'll be next Monday, January 26th. Make sure I have my dates right.
Okay.
January 26th, that'll be the public event. And then on the 27th, we will have that for the school.
Okay. I remember my kids loved going and watching, and I know
Yes.
there was a couple of years or 1 year that they didn't have very many eagles there, but there seem to be a lot of eagles there?
Yeah, so our refuge specialist went out and did a bird survey 2 weeks ago, and she counted 340 eagles.
Oh, wow.
So we have quite a few eagles right now.
So you should be able to, to show the public some good...
Yeah, we're just hoping the weather is nice for the kids to enjoy. Last year we had beautiful weather, so it was really nice, and they got to see all the eagles on the ice and things like that.
I know you've been there just a short period of time. What can you tell us about eagles? You know, like their habitat, like where do they like to nest, be, and so
they'll nest up in trees. I mean, on our north side of the lake, there's not as many trees. So like in Kerwin, they are on the south side of the reservoir right now. Mm-hmm. So you'll see them up in trees nesting all around the lake. Mm-hmm. So then they come down and they'll sit on the ice and along the lake right there and feast.
So what do you recommend if people come out to see the eagles? What do they need to bring? Camera, binoculars?
Yeah, most definitely bring your camera and some binoculars. I mean, those trees were kind of sparse in trees at the reservoir. So, I mean, if you bring your binoculars, you're definitely going to see them. We have some, the kids call it the lovebird tree as you're coming on the south side, because usually when they pull in on that Tuesday of their educational event, there'll usually be a couple eagles sitting in that tree, and they always like to call it the lovebird tree.
That's interesting. I've never heard that, but
Yes.
that's kind of a neat name for the tree.
Yeah.
So, do all the elementary kids come out, or is there just a certain grades that come out?
So the grades that we invite are like the 4th and 5th graders from the surrounding area schools.
Okay, and so that would be Phillipsburg, Logan.
Yeah, so we did, who is coming? Phillipsburg, Logan, Long Island, Stockton, Osborne. I don't think Smith Center is able to come this year, but yeah.
Okay. That's quite a few different schools. I know I've helped with different activities. They've had Wacky Days, I think it was, and there's a lot of kids that come.
Yeah,
and
we're
have a great
estimating
time.
about 125 kiddos. So we split that session. We're going to have 2 different sessions so we can handle the group sizes.
Okay. Okay. Could you go back over kind of where this event takes place and where people should go and what times are best?
So on Monday, January 26th, we will have our public event, and that is held at the Dane G. Hansen Scout Reservation Dining Hall, and that will be at 7 p.m. All ages are welcome. I mean, this is a family-friendly event, so we encourage everyone to come out and see what we have to offer. Bill from Operation Wildlife, he's been coming for several years, and he always tells us he's going to retire, but he keeps on coming back. So Operation Wildlife is a rehabilitation center out of Linwood, Kansas.
Okay.
And he's going to bring a live bald eagle as well as a couple raptor species for us to see and interact with.
For the public as well as for the kids?
Yes, so the public, he does the same educational talk for the public on Monday night as he will for the kids on Tuesday.
Okay.
So the educational program for the schools is on Tuesday, January 27th, and that's at the Scout Reservation again in the dining hall. So we'll go over the educational side of that with Bill from Operation Wildlife. And then following that presentation, we'll load up the kids and take them to an area where they can view the eagles in their natural habitat and things like that. So we'll bring binoculars and spotting scopes and let them be able to look and enjoy and show them how to find those things.
That's so it's education, not just getting out of school for a free day.
Yes, they're going to learn something.
And hopefully the snow and everything will stay away.
Yeah, hopefully there's good weather so they can get out and really enjoy that.
Have you ever had to cancel, or do you know?
They did cancel a few years ago with COVID and the weather and things like that. So we've had some cancellations in the past.
Well, on Monday at 7 p.m. in the dining hall of the Hansen Scout Reservation, you can learn about the eagles and more. And thank you, Ashely, for sharing this morning. And we'll take a quick break, and we'll have Beau VanLoenen come back to visit with us about Rotary.
On the field, taking risks is part of the game. Every yard, every play. It's about going all in. But when it comes to your money, it pays to be careful. With the careful service from First National Bank and Trust, you can detect unusual activity and stop fraud before it happens. Protect yourself and the ones you love with Careful, because being smart off the field is the real win.
We're here for you.
Life's better when you're under our roof, because we know it's more than a new home. It's a new journey.
Welcome to the neighborhood, Jordan.
Thanks, guys. Whoa.
And when you feel protected, you can dream fearlessly.
Go long.
Bundle home and auto and save up to 40%. American Family Insurance.
The Hansen Museum of Logan, Kansas is where history and creativity unite. For over 50 years, we've been your cultural hub, offering a diverse range of exhibits, from captivating Lego brick displays to timeless joy of Bob Ross's art. But we're not just a museum, we're a community gathering space. Join us for thrilling events like Murder Mysteries or celebrate creative talents at one of our many events. At the Hanson Museum, we're not just preserving the past, we're creating memories for the future.
We are taking wheat to the next level. As a producer of vital wheat gluten, advanced biofuels, and important co-products. Amber Wave. Vital. Reliable. Sustainable.
Welcome back, and our guest Beau VanLoenen is here, and he is a member of the Phillipsburg Rotary, and I'm sure they have several things. They always have something going on, it seems like.
Try to.
And first of all, Beau, do you want to kind of remind people what the Rotary is
Sure.
and what they do?
About the easiest way to always explain it, or quickest way, is we're basically an adult 4-H group. I mean, we got a bunch of different activities and things going on that we try to do, but as well as we try to fundraise to do some of these things. But we, Rotary for Phillipsburg, we're at around 38 members right now, just different members amongst the community. Anyone can be a part of Rotary. You just got to have the want or will to come. We meet every Thursday. We meet at Farmhouse Kitchen. Jody's gracious enough to let us meet there. And we have lunch there over noon hour and discuss, business happenings, which is usually not a lot, but they usually have a program as well. And it's usually a pretty good time of fellowship, and a way just to keep caught up on the community and different things that other businesses and organizations have going on. So,
Okay, so anybody can join. You have to be, a member of a business or anything, or
yeah, I mean the rules, quote unquote, have kind of relaxed over the years. It used to be more driven towards business members, even business owners. I think if you got an employer that's willing to have an employee be a part of Rotary, we certainly wouldn't turn them away. And we all have the same goal, just to help our community out. And so, no, if anyone ever wanted to be a member, why reach out to a fellow Rotarian or even get a hold of myself, and we'd see what we could do to get you signed up.
Okay. I have had the privilege of being able to speak at Rotary for 4-H the Fair and some of the different programs I've done, and I've always thought it was a really neat service group because you do help our community out a lot. What events and specifically what are you here promoting that the Rotary is doing?
Well, today we have a fundraiser going on. We just got done with our grocery grab. That's basically 5 minutes to grab as much as you can in the grocery store and have a lot of fun with that. The winner this year, I think, was one of the Linker boys, and I think he did very well. But then we're kind of just the way our club's structured, we kind of have 2 raffle events back to back, and right now we have our raffle going on that we'll call it our Wilderness Tool fundraiser or raffle. We give away a first and second prize on that, and that's generally a pretty good fundraiser for us as well. We usually set up, they do the gun show later this fall in I think it's Valentine's Day, and we usually set up there and have pretty good success there too. So
Okay. Yeah, I didn't, when I got this, I didn't know if you were going to promote the grocery raffle, but it's already done, over with, and so on with the gun raffle.
Yeah, they kind of just follow one another, so sometimes people, okay, what are you doing? But it has good intentions behind it. So
Yes, exactly. What the funds that you do raise, you've kind of touched on some of it, but what are some of the funds that you do raise? What are those used for specifically?
A big focus is just, different things within the community. If someone reaches out and says, hey, we need help. One of the bigger projects we just completed this late summer, fall, the the walkway at Fort Bissell was in need of
Yes.
repair. And so we bought all of the supplies and lumber, and then several Rotarians. I didn't get in on it this time, but I was a part of it last time. But take out all the old and put down the new, and you know, that was I think a 2-3 day project, so a lengthy project, but one certainly worthwhile. We helped build. This has been a couple of years ago, so memory's not quite as sharp. But it was down at the baseball field. I think we helped fund building. Maybe it was a building to house the pitching machine or something along those lines. We donate to hospice every year. We've donated to the food bank, try to do that at least once a year. We have Student of the Month that voted on by the school, and those students get to come, basically be presented by the teacher and I guess explain their accolades and everything that they've accomplished. But all of those students at the end of the year get put into a hat, and then we draw out and give a scholarship to the students. So that's yet another thing that we do with the funds. There's a couple of park benches around town kind of commemorating past Rotarians. We've done that. We have another fund that it's the Ron Bovey basically memorial, and its whole premise is those going through, let's just say cancer, for example. It's a little donation that we can give to them just to help cover costs of travel. And if you know of someone, put a plug in for that. If you know of someone and someone in need, by all means reach out to us. We're happy to help, because sometimes, you know, just a little bit goes a long ways, and puts a smile on their face just for a little bit. Well, that's worth it to the club right there. So yeah, a few of the things, there's I guess several other that I'm drawing probably a blank on that we've done, but we try to do it all and what we can do. So.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Rotary that comes up? That
it's just a great way to catch up on the community. What really sticks out with me when I first joined, there was some of the past, and I'll just say older Rotarians that have since passed on. But just hearing their stories and their memories from the past, that's kind of what's resonated with me the most. A lot of them are some pretty comical stories, but you know, Rotary in and of itself is a very lighthearted, fun group, and that's, I guess, what I take away as my thing that I, really enjoy about it. So.
Yeah, I know when I was able to speak to the club, you could tell it was kind of like a family. That everybody, there's teasing going on as well as just, you know, having being serious on matters too. So it was an excellent group that I enjoyed speaking to. Do you want to remind us about the raffle, how much the tickets are, where they can be bought?
Sure. I made a list, and I'm probably going to forget a Rotarian, so I apologize in advance. But any Rotarian has tickets for the, again, Wilderness Tool raffle. But it's tickets $5, or you can get 5 tickets for $20. And just real quickly, Ron Bovey Jr., Todd Bowman, Caleb Breon, our past president, Cricket Cole, our treasurer, Sarah Corman, Kent Culbertson, Jenny Dix, Morris Engel, Vicki Everett, Rebecca Flora, Mike Gower, Jason Gross, Conley Huguenin, Shane Kenter, Billy Knowles, our Sergeant-at-Arms, Jen Lanier. He's basically the tail twister, the jokester. Really hard role for him to get into.
Yes.
Christy Linker, Cody Miller, Dennis Miller, our president, Eric Overmiller, his wife, Tara Overmiller, Chris Patton, Kevin Pinkerton, Kyle Pinkerton, Ken Rogers, Stephen Rust, our vice president or president-elect, Greg Seville, Paula Shalowski, Mike Spicer, Jessica Stewart, Cassie Taylor, Sally Thomas, Doug Valley, Lita Valley, myself, Roger VanLoenen, Jody Wilkinson, and Todd York. Those are all our current Rotarians, and any one of them would be able to fix you right up. So.
And hopefully you know at least one or two or
Sure.
several of them. So
Yep.
yes, when you said Jim Lanier, the jokester, I taught across the hall from him for many years. And yes, you never knew what was what's going to happen with
meetings
him.
usually entertaining every week with Jim there, and we like that though. So.
Oh yes. So repeat, the drawing will be held February 26th, and thanks,
correct.
Beau, for coming on. And we'll take another break, and then we'll be back with Scott Eller.
Coombs Trucking is your trusted partner for towing services. Our expert team is always on call, ready to help you get the service you need. As a AAA service provider, Coombs Trucking offers dependable and professional service in every situation. We've got the equipment, experience, and dedication to get you back on track. Don't let a roadside emergency slow you down. Choose Coombs Trucking for reliable towing services that keep you moving. Coombs Trucking, a trusted family business for over 60 years.
At Farmers National Bank, we believe that strong foundations are built on faith, hard work, and everyday heroes. For over a century, we've been proud to serve the communities that have made us who we are today. We honor everyday heroes who dedicate their lives to serving others. You inspire us to treat every customer with the respect and care they deserve. At Farmers National Bank, we know that strong communities are built on strong foundations, and we are proud to be part of yours. Farmers National Bank, honoring strong foundations since 1921.
Are you looking for reliable insurance options in Phillipsburg, Kansas? Look no further than Rogers & Associates Insurance. Our team is dedicated to providing great options for home, agriculture, auto, and commercial insurance. Whether you're a homeowner, farmer, or business owner, we have the coverage you need to protect what matters most. Trust us to provide you with personalized service and competitive rates. Contact Rogers & Associates Insurance today to learn more about our insurance solutions.
Welcome back, and we have Scott Eller with us at this time. One of the goals that My Phillips County Online has for the Tadpoll is to reintroduce to our community the area churches and their pastors. So several churches have had changes in leadership, and I know our church, Father Trinity's been here for a year, a little over a year. And I know there's many ministers and priests that move in and out. So sometimes it's kind of hard to keep up with all of the changes. And it's always good to know are the ministers and such around. Today we have pastor of the Phillipsburg Community Church of God, Scott Eller, and good morning.
Good morning.
It's been a while. I was just visiting with him a minute. Scott was actually in my daughter's class, and I had the privilege of teaching him when he was in high school. And I don't know if he felt the same way, but I really enjoyed Scott when he was in high school. And it's really nice to see your former students come out and do wonderful in their jobs and in their family lives and such. And so this is a great example that I can see here with Scott. Tell us a little bit about how you became the pastor of this church.
Okay, well, it's an interesting story. Most of your viewers, listeners I'm not a new face. So like you said, you taught me, I was born in Phillipsburg, lived in Phillips County my whole life until I went to Votech in Beloit. Now I attended church and grew up going to church, but being a pastor wasn't necessarily anything I pursued. That call had been spoken in my life a few times, but I never really pursued it. You know, I thought I had life figured out and I was going to be a big-time mechanic and make lots of money. And even in those times, I learned that I liked turning wrenches less than I liked just entertaining my classmates. Most of the time, you'd find me working on entertaining several people, distracting them from their projects as opposed to working. And so that was that part of the journey. And then I got a job at KDOT and moved back home and started attending the church over Heartland Worship Center. That's where I'd went on Wednesday nights for most of my life, and got back involved and started teaching Sunday school. And that was the story. I worked for KDOT for about 10 years, and I taught Sunday school over there. And then I felt God say in a service one day that he was calling me to something different. He was calling me out of there, not for any reason or issue or problem, but that he was calling me into more, and that was scary and intimidating, but I was willing to take that step. I didn't know what more meant. I didn't know if that meant serving differently in a different church, any of those things. And then, so my job with KDOT, which I still do, I bivocational, it requires me to drive a lot. And so in that time, I spend time praying and just spending time with God, worship music. And on one of those days, he really laid the Community Church of God on my heart. I didn't know what their pastor situation was at that point in time. And so I reached out, and that began a 6-month, roughly, process of interviews, of meeting with them, of really kind of honing in on this call that God had placed on me to be a pastor. And at that point in time, I had no schooling. I had taken some classes through the Assemblies of God in Kansas, some pastoral classes, but I didn't have any sort of certificate or any sort of degree, and so that's why the long interview process with the Community Church of God, because they had Pastor Becky Sadler as an interim, but she'd retired, and that was kind of the stage of life she was at, but she was doing a great job filling in, but they were willing and looking for a full-time pastor. And so through all of the interview, we reached a point where basically they said that they knew me, and we talked about kind of our beliefs and our theological background, but the one thing we didn't know is if I could preach. And so they gave me a month worth of Sundays and said, you're going to preach, and if it goes well, then we'll turn one of the final 2 into a voting Sunday where we'll vote on candidacy, and that's how it went. I preached the first 2, and the third one, the board called me and said, we feel comfortable, we see God's hand in this, and so we're going to move forward. And that was October 15th of 2023, so just over 2 years ago. And God's been moving and working, and so I didn't come in with credentials, but since then I have I've been taking classes since the following spring after I was brought into the church. I've been taking classes through their program, and I'm licensed, and in spring of next year I will be ordained through the Church of God. And so it's been a wonderful journey kind of since then.
It's amazing how God works.
Yeah.
And you just never know what he calls you to do.
Right.
And I think it's wonderful that you got that calling, because I remember in school, you said you were the jokester. You always made class fun. So I can definitely see, and I can see how well you would be able to lead a church. So
I appreciate
really,
that. And that's part of the story. It's an interesting dynamic being a pastor in your own hometown. And I still tell people around town, and like you mentioned at the beginning, that people don't necessarily know because of the turnover and the changes in pastor. And I tell people, and there's still that shock. And it's justifiable, right? I am the person that they knew all of those years, and that's part of the dynamic is I don't pretend to not be. I have the pleasure of a couple of my former teachers that attend my church, and I've had that conversation with them of, it's surprising. I think I was probably a little bit of a bad kid, and the comment I get, thankfully, is, well, you must not have been too bad because I don't remember you in that way. So overall, now I remember being bad, but this town knows me better than, say, any other town, and that's who I was, but it's part of God's redemptive story and transformation, that not that I was necessarily the worst kid in the world, but nobody growing up would have said that kid's going to be a pastor someday. But God had a different plan, and it's Him that moves those pieces and orchestrates that and brings about the change in my life and those things. So it's for His glory for sure. But it is an interesting dynamic pastoring in your hometown.
Oh, I'm sure it is, yes, because just going home to your hometown. My hometown's Stockton, not that far away, but you still are thrown into that what you were when you were in high school and
Right.
growing up, and
Yeah.
you know, years. So
Yeah.
I can see where that would be a definite. But then there's an advantage too.
Right. Yep.
So, where is your church located? What times are your services? And
So our church is at 135 10th. I tell people it's the corner of 10th and Park. And we have Sunday school on Sundays at 9:15, morning worship at 10:30, and then Wednesday night Bible study at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. We also have the advantage, and just to put a plug in, TFC meets in our church on Wednesdays as well at 6 o'clock, which I don't have any part other than making sure the schedule works out. Brian Fisher does a great job in taking care of all of that. But they meet in our church on Wednesdays as well. And then the NA group, which they have just recently changed their times, but they also meet from 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturdays at our church. So different services, but our services are Sunday school starting at 9:15, and then regular service at 10:30, and then our Wednesday night Bible study starts at 7. That's mostly for adults. Kids are welcome, but we just don't have any specific kids program like some churches do. Other than the TFC, you know, across the church, they have middle school and high school kids over there. We're known to have some rugrats running around in our adult Bible study, keeping us entertained or distracted, depending on how you look at it.
yes. So, what would you like the community to know about your church? If they would choose to come, what would you like them to know about it?
We've got a wide variety of folks in our church. We are blessed with toddlers running around on a Sunday, all the way up to some of the older folks in our community. And I've just been able to step in and be blessed by a group of wonderful people that is welcoming for everyone. And that's kind of what our church is about. We realize that none of us are perfect. The sign inside the front door says, you know, we do second chances, and we're about that forgiveness, and realize that we're all on a journey, and we aren't perfect. There is things in everybody's story that they don't like, and those are the kind of the things that tend to prevent us from coming to church. Is one day I'll get cleaned up enough to come to church, you know, to learn more about this Jesus guy. But they were, and I get to step in and have been blessed to join in. We're a wonderful group of people that knew that Jesus loved the sinner, and that you didn't have to get cleaned up. He wants to help with that part. He wants to help you overcome the struggles and the battles in your life, and they welcome you in. And so that's the one thing, you know, if you're looking for a church home, I would just say that our church is going to welcome you. Don't feel like you have to hide anything. We're pretty casual, and we just love people. That's one thing they've been doing well there. Not perfectly, obviously, everybody's got their struggles, but they've been a community, a core body of believers that loved people, and that's been part of my heart to continue on. I told them coming into this process, coming in with no background, that I had no desire to do church just for the sake of doing it. I wanted it to be important for folks. I wanted it to be this body, this family of believers, and that's what they had, and that's what we've continued to have. We call it our church family, and it's our family. It's a family of families, because we have, you know, families that their grandparents come all the way down to the toddlers, and it's a wonderful community.
Thank you, Scott, for sharing with us this morning. Our time is up, but there's a few things that I want to remind you of. Remind you about the Eagle Days on Monday, 7 p.m. at the dining hall at the Scout Building. Kerwin Scout, I guess it's called the Hanson Scout building. And if you want to purchase a Rotary raffle ticket, please find a Rotary member to buy your chance to win. And if you're looking for a church to attend, Scott's is a great one to find. I'm sure he'd be willing to talk with you. And then want to remind you that tonight the girls basketball, the high school girls basketball, will play game 2 at Norton against Plainville. Is that right? Plainville at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's at Norton against Plainville.
At Norton against Plainville at 6 at the East Campus. And the boys will play about 4:30 against TMP at Plainville. So they're going to be divided up on Friday. All semifinal games will be played in Plainville, and also the girls wrestling team will be wrestling this Saturday in Osborne, and the boys wrestling team will be headed to Hayes for the Bob Kuhn Classic. And it's going to be a busy weekend. It's that time of year. That wraps up today's show. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Phillips County